Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi and today we are going to do a quick get ready with me with some products that are new or new to me, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat about our new addition, Sadie. So this is our little Shiba puppy, so I can't wait to share a little bit more about her. And as always, please let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to be testing out a few new products, and some of them are brand new items. Some of them are just things that are new to me. And I figure I'll also use this time to tell you guys a little bit about our puppy story. So I'm going to start off with the Euphoria. This is the pregame primer. This is a moisturizing primer, and I really like this. So one of my favorite primers has been the Dior Forever Veil primer, which actually I have a new bottle. Let me show you what it looks like because it has been discontinued. So this primer, this is the Dior Forever Skin Veil Primer, and I really like this one. It's a moisturizing primer, has SPF, but they did discontinue it. So this is my last tube of it. I haven't started that one yet. However, the Euphoria Pregame Primer is very similar. So both of them have about the same, there's a little bit of a tint there. Let me just show you that. And so here's the pregame primer. And the Dior is about the same color. Now you can definitely blend this out, but it does, add a little bit of warmth to my skin. Not really anything noticeable, but it's there. It kind of rejuvenates my skincare if it's not freshly done by the time I put on my makeup and so forth. Now, the Euphoria does not have SPF while the Dior does. But I think this is a really great alternative to the Dior. Even when the Dior was still available, this is a great alternative because it is a less expensive product, and both of them perform very well with other foundations. I haven't had any issues. So just for reference, this has a 6-month shelf life. It's made in Korea, and it is 1 fluid ounce, so 30 milliliters. Now, I also picked up the new Armani Power Fabric Plus concealer. So this has been redone, and I wasn't really sure what shade to pick up. Oh, I think they gave me the wrong one. All right, well, I thought we were going to be using this today, but you can see just through the tube, this is definitely not my shade. They sent me 7.5, which is not what I ordered, so I will have to contact them. I have to say, this is the last 2 Armani orders I placed on their website. This has happened. I ordered the shade 10 blush, and they sent me the wrong shade in that as well. Great customer service. They sent out the right one right away afterwards, but weird that this has happened again, back to back. So let me go ahead, let's pivot and move on to a different product. So Laura Geller actually reached out and sent me their Baked Balance and Brighten foundation. So they sent me the shades Fair and Porcelain, and let's go ahead and see how these are. So this is a powder foundation, and when I use powder foundations, I typically like to use a little bit of that as concealer as well. So let's go ahead and test that out. All right, so these are the two. This one here is Porcelain, and this one is Fair. Let me go ahead and swatch these on my arm. So here's Porcelain. I have to say, when you look at the actual brick in there, you can see there is a little bit of, some pink and some beige kind of swirled in there, along with a bit more like ivory white. When you look at the Fair, you're actually looking at warmer tones swirled in there. You can see you've got kind of this more mocha shade. You've got a little bit more like of a peachy orange, as well as like a slightly warmer ivory. So this one here is Fair. And looking at these on my wrist, I can tell that Porcelain is definitely going to be the shade for me to try out. So let's go ahead and test that. All right, so I just recently picked up this brush from Fude Beauty. I haven't tried it out yet, but this is I believe it's the Koyudo Fupa Deca. I'll leave that linked down below. I might have the name incorrect, but it is intended for things like powder foundations. So this is a very kind of a dense buffing brush. Let's test it. Okay, so this product comes up more easily than I thought. So I actually made a bit of a powdery mess. And here we go. Let's just dab a little bit on this side. And I'm trying to start off with less and build up. All right, so here's the side with the foundation versus without. Let me back you up a bit. And let me bring you in really close too, so you can see it up close. You can see there's a bit of luminosity with this, no glitter or sparkle, but there does seem to be a bit of a sheen. I think that's really nice. So this side has a foundation, this side doesn't. Definitely see the difference. All right, so while I finish putting this on, I'll tell you a little bit about our new Shiba puppy named Sadie. So she's, somewhere between 9 and 10 weeks old. I haven't actually counted the weeks, but I guess she's closer to 10 weeks. So, we just got her a week ago, and she has grown so much already in just this week. She's starting to get some of her real coat in now, not really so much of that puppy fuzz. Obviously that's still there, but some of her new hairs are definitely coming in. So it's really interesting to watch. And she's a sesame colored Shiba. So I've had a Shiba in the past, and she was a red sesame, or a red Shiba. So, that's your traditional coloring for Shibas. And our previous Shiba, Callie, and we just had such a really strong bond. So I wanted to get another Shiba, but I really didn't want to get one that looked very similar to her, because I just, I didn't want that. I didn't want to repeat that. So, Sadie is sesame. So she's going to have coloring more, I guess more like a coyote, and her older sister from the same father, we met her at the breeder's house, and she is stunning, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really hoping that Sadie will end up looking a lot like her. It seems like she's going to. So she's got, this traditional sesame markings and stuff, but she gets some of this like gorgeous, like mahogany color in her coat. And I can already see that developing on Sadie. So overall, this foundation, I think it did a really nice job on my skin. I like it. I love using powder foundations, particularly in the summertime. It just sometimes feels easier, lighter on the skin than using a liquid or a cream. This foundation brush, it worked really well. So I like this. And yeah, so far those are both winners. Let's take a look at some other items. I was gonna go for like all cream products today and test out some things, but let's just continue with powder. So Laura Geller also sent me this blush in Sunlit Rose. So we're going to test this blush. Ooh, look at this. This is really pretty. I love how this looks marbled. You've got some gold in there. You've got like this light pink, a tiny touch of white, but it's mostly just like this really pale pearl pink. And you've got more of a fuchsia and like a medium carnation pink. Let's see what that looks like. You can see it gets a little bit of, not quite a metallic sheen, but it's kind of a high satin. So you have a bit more of a sheen to it. Let's test that on the cheeks. I'm going to use a brush. This is more of like a fluffy, like stippling brush. So I want to try getting just a little bit of color with it. So anyway, back to the whole Sadie thing. I have been wanting another dog for years. We haven't had a dog in a few years here. Our husky, she died during COVID. So, it was a very sad time. We've waited some time before getting another dog. My husband really didn't want to get a dog, but we did agree that, now was a great time to get one with the kids. So it worked out well. And then I have been looking at breeders. I've been on the wait list for shelters for like a year and a half. And every time I tried to get a dog from a shelter, I missed out. Like our area, it goes pretty quickly. So because I do have certain requirements, having, the young kids and so forth. So I had certain requirements. So every dog that met my requirements that was from the shelter, I missed out on. It was probably 6 or 7 different dogs that I tried for and I was unable to get. And I had given up hope on the breeders because I had basically looked at all of the different, Shiba breeders and even other breeds like Chantecaille, going with a more dense brush on the other side. This is a Refer 04. So Alaskan Chantecaille, which are like a mini husky. And I had looked at all of those and, it's like so hard to get somebody to contact you back. I filled out applications. I sent in emails, phone calls, and so forth. and people were just like not responding, or the people that were, for example, the other Shiba breeders, they weren't breeding. They all know each other. There are only like 3 of them on the East Coast. They all know each other. They all, were kind of like working together, and they were kind of taking a break from breeding for a while. And, none of them are the types of breeders that have, they'll do like 1 or 2 litters a year. So they're not like massive breeders. So they're already weightless. So, we're looking at years and so forth. So one of those 3 breeders, who she doesn't advertise or anything, but she basically ended up having a larger litter than usual, and sort of a surprise litter. So, I was able to get one, and it was just sort of like amazing. I was just like so shocked. But okay, so here's the blush. You can see you definitely have kind of this sheen to it. You can see a little bit of that gold. You don't need highlighter with it. It's blingy. I think it's really pretty. Yeah, I have to say I like it. I've never tried Laura Geller makeup before. I have heard good things. I know somebody online, who swears by their products and uses them quite a bit. So I've always been curious to try them, and yeah, I'm really impressed. Now for eyes today, I still want to kind of keep things pretty light because my eyes are still pretty irritated from my allergies. So they definitely don't look as red as they have been recently. So they're getting better, but they are still a little irritated. So I'm going to keep it easy. I just ordered a replacement of the Sisley Fido Eye Twist. This is the one, I've actually gone through a couple of these over the years. This is shade number 1 in Topaz, and it's a favorite of mine. So we're going to use this as a base, and we're going to top it off with the SUQQU. This is one of their mono shadows, the Tone Touch Eyes. This is shade 13, and this is kind of like a pinky lavender shade. So I'm going to pair those together. Let's go ahead. I'm going to bring you in closer. So while I talked to the breeder and found out that, she would have one that we could get, at that time, my husband had still not really, he wasn't 100% on board. So he agreed that we would go and we would see the puppies, and we'd bring the kids, see how they acted and so forth. And we went, and, I have to say, everybody just sort of fell in love. So it was great. Some friends of ours, they came with us. They fell in love too. And honestly, my friend who has a little bit of some anxiety around, having dogs at home and so forth, she really helped kind of persuade my husband, not like forcefully or anything. It was just more so the way that she reacted made him reconsider his opinions on things. And yeah, so he agreed that we could get the puppy, and by then it was just a matter of weeks. So my daughters both have birthdays in May, so it's been a really hectic month for that, for a whole bunch of, end of the school year stuff. We still have a couple weeks, but we were able to get the puppy over Memorial Day weekend, and it's just been fantastic. Shiba puppies are awesome because they, I don't know, the breed itself, they're a very stubborn, independent breed, but they also have a lot of characteristics that make them ideal for, I guess, for, not necessarily having to spend every waking minute with them. So what I mean by that is, a traditional puppy you're taking out every 1.5, 2 hours, something like that, like all through the night and everything. Shibas are very particular. They don't like to go to the bathroom in the house. They actually prefer going outside. So she was essentially house trained by the time we got her. And then they also, they don't necessarily wake up during the night to go to the bathroom too frequently. So I haven't had, yes, I'm still getting up during the night with her, but not as frequently as I had to do when we had our husky puppy, who really did have to go out every few hours. So just a little difference there. And it makes it a little bit easier. Now she is, in her biting, teething phase. So that's something the kids are still adjusting to, but she's so sweet. I mean, she's not like biting forcefully or anything. It's really so cute. All right, I'm just using the Rephr eyelash curler here, and I like to do double pumps along 3 spots on the eyelashes. So, you know, base, middle, and towards the tips. And I think this is a great eyelash curler. So it's one that I use that or the Surratt a lot. For the lashes, I'm going to go in with the Surratt Noir Lash Tint. I'm so hoping they make this in brown. I have put in a request a few times with them. So we'll see if it ever comes out. Yeah, so back to Sadie. You know, we let the kids name her. My husband is not super thrilled with the name Sadie, personally, but he, you know, he says this is the only dog we're ever getting. So it's like, you have to let the kids pick then. It's not really your choice. So they picked the name. They're very happy with it. They love having her. And they're doing a really nice job taking care of her. All right, so these are the eyes. You know, I have to say I love the Tone Touch eyes, and I particularly like how this particular shade number 13 pairs with some sort of taupey brown. I think it just brings out some of the nuances of the shade, and you see a little bit more of that bluish tone in there. But if you wear it on its own, it has a bit more of a pink vibe to it. So it all depends on what you pair it with, if you're pairing it with anything at all. And it's one of my favorites. Like, I really love this particular shade. So I would definitely recommend it. It is in their permanent line. So, you know, it is something that is available. Now, I don't need any highlighter with this. Now, SUQQU did just recently send me some new items. So they sent me their new hand cream, which, you know, I'll have more on that later. And then they also sent me their eyebrow set. So I have not tried this. They sent me the eyebrow pen, which I do have. I have the eyebrow pen. I think this is a different shade than what I have. So this one here is number 2. And I think I have the, I forget, like the taupe shade. So this one's brown. And then the 3D Control eyebrow set. So let's take a look at this. All right, so this is the eyebrow set. We have a 1-year shelf life. All the SUQQU products are made in Japan, and this particular product is 6.7 grams. Let me just go ahead and swatch each of these. So here is the dark brown, which, you know, is going to come up better with like a stiffer brush or something. And then we have kind of this medium brown. This texture of this is like, it's interesting. It's not a powder. It's not a cream. It has almost like it's not like wet like a wax, but it almost has a little bit of a waxy texture to it, like a waxy powder. And then the ivory. So those are the 3 there. And let's see what the utensil looks like. So we actually have like an eyeshadow end and a stiffer end here. You could totally, I mean, I could definitely see these working great as like an eyeshadow base. I'm going to bring you in closer. All right, so we're going to take this little ivory shade on the shadow part, and we're going to put this underneath here just to give it a little bit of a highlight. You can see the difference. You know, it adds a little bit of blurring to the skin there without being like shiny. I like that. That's actually something I didn't know I was missing. And let's take the other end. We're going to start off in the dark brown. We'll mix in both shades though. And just going to get a little bit on here. Ooh, I think I put on a little bit more than I needed to there. And let's just kind of feather this in. You get a little bit of the lighter brown mixed in there as well. Just mixing the 2 together. It definitely gives a nice look. And being more of a powder product, it definitely reads natural. So anyway, back to the Shiba. We are really enjoying having her. If you're not familiar with the Shiba breed, they're kind of like mini Akitas in a way. They can be very, I can't think of the word, you know, less domesticated, you know, a little bit more, I can't think of the word. I'm having like a brain fart right now. But anyway, you know, they are stubborn. They are definitely not a breed for everybody. They do say that, you know, having experience with a breed like that really helps because they can be particular, they can be stubborn, they can be escape artists. You know, they have some of the same characteristics of a husky that I love. You know, they're fast runners. Obviously, they're much smaller. So she's going to top out probably close to 20 pounds, but 20 to 25 pounds is typically average for a Shiba. All right, so here's the brow powder. Let me know what you guys think. And I think it just looks a little dark for me. So I'm just going to take one of those eyebrow combs and run through it. So yeah, you know, overall, you know, they've probably grown to become my favorite breed. And some of them, they can imprint on a person, such as, you know, like a duck does and so forth, and then they'll only listen to that one. You also have situations where Shibas can be a little bit more, you know, not necessarily as friendly and welcoming to other people. Like they're very close with their core family members, but not necessarily always so friendly to others. So socialization is very, very important at her age, you know, to kind of not develop that kind of closed-mindedness that some Shibas can get in that regard. So, you know, yeah, that's kind of where we are with that, but we're absolutely loving having the puppy. She is adorable. And, you know, she is so well behaved already. She's super smart. You know, I was able to teach her how to sit in just like, honestly, like 30 minutes. She was good with it. So she's still not at the point where she always listens when called. And that's actually a feature of Shibas. They don't. They will listen when they want to. But, you know, I was able to get my other Shiba to, you know, always listen to me, you know, for, you know, if I used a certain tone of voice, like danger or something like that. So I want to make sure that she gets there too, just for, you know, safety reasons and so forth. But so far she's been really great. So I'd love to hear any little tips or suggestions on things that you might have if you have a recent puppy or something. So it's been a while since we've had a puppy. So, you know, always looking for like the best treats. I signed up for BarkBox. We got a Fable crate, which is really awesome. But one thing that happened, and I did not expect this, is she put her head through the door. So, because it has these little windows, which look too small to fit her head through, but nope, she got it through. So I haven't actually closed that crate again since then. I'm going to wait for her to grow a little bit more. For the lips, I'm going to move into the Sisley Fido Lip Twist in 19. This was a gift with purchase. So I haven't tried this particular shade yet. So you can see it's a peachy shade. Anything from the Fido Lip Twist line that have this particular bullet shape, these are in their, what they call their matte line. It's not going to be a flat matte, but it's not going to be their glossy one. The glossy ones have more of that eye twist shape that looks more like a crayon. I'll show you those in a second. All right, so this is the final look then today. Let me go ahead and show you some of those Fido lip twists. All right, so here is number 19. Let me go ahead and swatch that here. And you can see it's a peachy pink. So there's definitely is more peach with just a touch of pink, almost like a peachy rose. Very pretty. And then this one here is, you can't really tell the shape on that one anymore. I've used this one too much. This one here, this is shade number 8. So their satin formula has more of just this, you can see that we have more of this like triangular shape. Let me go ahead and show you that. You can see the difference in the sheen here. You have kind of this glossy translucency to it as well. And this one here, shade 8, I think it's called Candy if I remember correctly, but really beautiful. I love the Fido lip twists. I use them a ton during the summer. And as a matter of fact, this shade that I just pulled up a second ago is my most used. This is number 24. And you can see it's this really pretty, like kind of mauve shade there. And I love it. This is the one I reach for the most, along with shade number 1, which has some sparkle, by the way. All right, so here's number 1. You can see straight off the bat that you've got shimmer in this particular formula here. And this is just a very light shade here and really beautiful. You can use this one as a topper or on its own, but those are the ones I reach for the most. And yeah, I really like them. So overall, this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Sadie a little bit better. And, you know, I'm kind of showing you a few little clips and everything on the side here so you could see what she looks like. I'll definitely share little bits of her as she grows. I'll typically probably put those more towards like the end of a video or something. So if you're interested, you can keep watching. If not, you know, no big deal. So just a quick rundown of everything that we used today. Starting off with this brush. I think this is a really nice brush for mineral foundations or powder foundations. It applied the product very nicely. It picked it up well from the pan and it dispersed it well. It's got a nice density to it. It's very soft. And this handle here does, you know, it's a standing handle. So it's nice that, you know, you don't have to have something to put it in. So I can just stand that up on the side there. So I really like that. Now, as for the primer, as I already mentioned, this is a go-to primer for me. You can see, you know, if I squeeze everything down, I'm a little bit past the halfway point here with this. It's definitely one that I use a lot. That one was originally gifted to me, but it is an item that I would repurchase. The Laura Geller foundation, you know, the Baked Balance and Brighten. The shade Porcelain is great for me. It has an 18-month shelf life. It's made in Italy, and we have 9 grams of product here. So it's definitely, you know, I think well worth it. There are a ton of sales on their website. So, you know, just something to note there. And then the blush, I think is really beautiful. I'm actually surprised I've never tried this brand before and that I don't really hear a ton about it because I think these products are really beautiful. So really easy to use. They have a nice sheen to them. You know, I could see these definitely being like everyday staples. Moving on to the Sisley Fido Eye Twist in shade number 1. Again, this is a staple for me. This is the 3rd one of these that I've had now. And then we also have the SUQQU shadow in number 13. Again, this is, you know, a go-to product for me as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention the blush, the Baked Blush and Brighten in Sunlit Rose. That's also made in Italy. It has 4.5 grams of product and an 18-month shelf life. So just some things to note there. And then we have the Surat Lash Tint. That is one that I love. It's waterproof. You do need an oil-based cleanser to fully remove it, but it's a lash tint, not a true mascara. So I do notice a little bit of lengthening. It's mostly just darkening my lashes, but it has this really nice, you know, kind of vinyl texture to it going on. It's not really a tubey mascara or anything like that, but it stays put well. It defines the lashes. It looks very natural. It's a great everyday product. So really enjoying that. I really like this SUQQU product. So I'm gonna have to play with this more. You know, between this and my new love of the Victoria Beckham Brow Blade, I do have to say the Victoria Beckham still has my heart. That is my favorite. However, for a powder product, this is definitely, you know, something that I would use, and I like this better than other ones I've tried in the past. So definitely worth getting. And I have used the SUQQU liquid pen. And this one here is 02. Let me find my other one. You know, I don't see the other one. It's possible that I already finished that off, but let me just go ahead and swatch shade number 2 here so you can see that. So here's 2. You can see it's kind of a warm brown. And this is awesome. So you can see you have a brush tip on here, and this is great for flicking in. It looks really natural. It's a great formula. It lasts all day. Really like this product. So it's definitely one that I would repurchase again. I did buy it in the first place. So it's worth getting. And finishing up with the Sisley Fido Lip Twist in shade 19. Again, it's a really beautiful peachy rose shade here, and it has more of a matte finish to it, not a dry matte, but no true sheen to it. And I think these are really comfortable. They twist up, as they say in the name, and they're just great to like throw in a bag or something as well. So moisturizing, comfortable, really easy to use. What's not to love? So I hope this was helpful, and thank you for letting me share a little bit more about our new addition, Sadie. We absolutely love her. If you have any questions or anything, let me know, but I couldn't be happier. She's a great dog. The breeder that we used, she was absolutely excellent. She takes such great care of those dogs, and she's just so helpful, and she breeds for temperament, which is always a good thing, not coloration. Sometimes when breeders go for coloring versus temperament, you can end up with some undesirable qualities. And I'm just so happy I was able to get another Shiba, because I really thought it was going to be yours. So just so happy and thankful. And, if you've followed me for a while, you know that, the one thing that I've truly wanted has been another dog. And I'm just so glad that we were able to get one and add her to our family. And yeah, she's actually sleeping in a crate right beside me at night. So, it's a dream. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Let me know if you've tried any of these products, or if you're interested in any of these. Let me know what you'd like to see more of. And we definitely have a lot more new products coming up soon. I have a ton of new eyeshadows to share with you. Just waiting for those eyes to get a little bit less tender. And definitely a ton coming up. So please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you very soon. Have a wonderful day.